Good day to everyone. This is Dr. Sivaraman of iknowindices.com. You are able to hear me. Let me display the slide. Asian session live market analysis on May 31st between 5 and 5:30 GMT. So we'll be tracking the market using the live market code page as a simple market tracking technique. I'll give the link for the same. You can open it in a browser. I'll focus the camera over that of the live market code page. You can see currently Euro is trading in the range of 1.2311, 1.2313. The low is 1.2256, the high is 1.2329, and the net change is 39 pips positive. So you find that Euro is trading near that of the high currently, and GBP is currently trading around 1.446973. The low is 1.4366, quite a way, and from there it has gained about 100 pips. There was a downward stop and before making a quick rise, and then the high is 1.2596. That is also a very big high, and the net change is 13 pips positive. So when Euro has gained about 39 pips, GBP has gained only about 13 pips. As a result, we come across Euro GBP is showing a positive net change and it is trading around 0.8506, 0.8509. The low is 0.8470 and the high is 0.8530. So in order to make an upward and a downward stop in the cross, they made a very quick drop and a quick rise in the case of GBP, and currently they are trading in the nominal range. And in the case of USD yen, 91.49, 91.52 are the current levels. Just now, yen has cut the high. 90.84 is the low and 91.51 is the high. And currently it is trading around that of the high. And the net change is 46 pips positive. So when Euro, GBP as well as yen are showing positive net change, you can understand they are trying to do the contrarian move. As a result, you find the yen crosses. Euro yen and GBP yen are gaining the levels. Euro yen has gained the level of about 91 pips and GBP yen has gained a level of about 78 pips. So you find that the net change have become positive in the case of the yen crosses because of the contrarian move of rising Euro GBP as well as USD yen. Then in the case of USD CHF, you find that it is strongly holding around 1.15 area. 1.1543 is the low, 1.15494851 are the current level. The high is 1.1596. The negative net change is 41 pips. When Euro is showing a positive net change of 41 pips, CHF is also showing a 41 pips negative net change, almost equal. So as a result, you come across Euro CHF. Euro CHF has just come to that of 0.0000 net change level. So it is almost flat. Euro CHF is almost flat, not making any headway either on the upside or on the downside. Then with regard to the commodity pairs, USD CAD is currently trading around 1.0491. 0495 area, 1.0479 is the low, 1.0550 is the high. The negative net change is 54 pips. So it has dropped more than that of USD CHF. As a result, you will find that CHF CAD cross will be making a downward move. Then in the case of Australian dollar, 0.8493 is the current level. 0.9431 is the low, 0.9495 is the high, 20 pips positive net change is seen in the case of Australian dollar, and this is in Australian dollar is currently trading around that of the high 0.8495 level and almost closer to that. So this indicates that they wanted to gain the levels in the case of the numerator currencies, and afterwards They are also not interested in dropping the denominator currencies much, and they will also alternatively gain the levels in the case of the denominator currencies. So this is the week beginning but month end. So it is week beginning, that too on the last day of the month. So last day of the month, you know that they will be handling the derivative market, the futures and the options, etc. So obviously you'll come across more volatility in the market. So we have to be prepared for such volatility, and we can use the hedging order to limit the risk and try to maximize the profit. So let me focus the camera. Let me Let me focus the camera over that of the PowerPoint presentation. What is expected today? So today during the Japanese session, Euro and GBP are expected to swing and gain the levels. And then further gaining could be seen during the early European session, and that could be a very quick rise, and then a quick drop is expected from that of the mid-European session till late European session. And during the US session, you'll envisage a swing and gain moves, or swing and rise moves are expected during that of the US session. So these are all the expected moves for today. Accordingly, you can take your trading positions. Now let us analyze the initial highs and the initial lows set for today. Euro has formed the low of 1.2256 and 1.2329 on the high, and currently Euro is trading around that of 1.2312 to 1.2314. So it has not yet breached the high. In the case of GBP, a wide range has been set between the high and the low. 1.2366 is the low, and currently the market is trading around 1.446973. The high is 1.4596, and it is again about 100 pips away. So it is in the middle range. Then CHF 1.1543 is the low, and which is also intact. Market is currently trading near that of the low, and the high is 1.1596, which is intact. Then USD Yen 90.84 is the low and 91.51 is the high, and they just briefly cut the high by the third decimal, and still it is hovering around that of 91.50, 91.53, and they are expected to breach the high and go above to start with. So you find that USD CHF is near that of the low, whereas USD Yen is near that of the high. So you can understand that both the denominator currencies are making contrarian move. Then in the case of Australian dollar, 0.8431 is the low, 0.8495 was the initial high, and they breached the high by 1 pip. So it's now the current high, more than 1 pip. 0.8501 is the high, current high, and they breached the initial high of 84.95, and they have gone above. So which is an indication that they wanted to gain the levels in the case of the numerator currencies. So accordingly, you can take the trading decision. Now probably take a buy and try to close before the mid-European session with some profit, and then subsequently when the new high has not been breached for more than 30 minutes, then you can take a sell position near that and try to close it towards close of the European session. Then try to take a buy position again during the late European session or early US session. Then you will come across further gains. Then in the case of Canadian dollar, 1.0479 is the low, which is intact. 1.0550 is the high, and which is also intact. Currently market is trading near that of the low. So when USD CHF and USD CAD, both the denominator currencies are trading near that of the low, USD Yen is trading near that of the high. So this is how you come across that market is showing the contrarian move. If you watch the live market code page, you will be able to understand how exactly they simultaneously handle all the currencies and try to bring in the swings in the case of the respective cross. So this is the main technique. So they handle the majors in a contrarian way. As a result, you come across that crosses also show volatility. So if you are guided that the crosses show volatility, which brings in the moves in the case of the majors and nothing but the attribute. And so it is something like a small baby trying to lift a man. So I don't want to explain more here. And let me minimize the PowerPoint presentation and focus the camera over that of the live market quote page. And take up the questions which are asked here. Okay, Herman, is GBP high correct? So this is how the highs and the lows are being set by the interbank treasury, and the high is correct, even though you may come across that the market has not reached that particular high in the live market quote page, but they set the high in the interbank treasury that is being shown in the case of the live market quote page, or it can be an error also. Sometimes the software error can show such variations. But we have to see during the day whether they are adjusting this high and the low in the case of GBP. Then balance. Expect Euro GBP to be stronger this week. No, Euro GBP is expected to make a brief upward stop and above that of 0.85 and then subsequently make the drop from that of the European session. Then George, can we expect Euro USD to cut the high during the European session? Yes, very likely. And Euro is expected to go above that of 1.2329, and there could be a strong gain during that of the early European session, and they may probably go up to 1.2396 or 1.2317 and then subsequently slide from there. So there will be a good range swings in the market, and we have to watch carefully and try to take the positions and handle them. Then drop. Spain rating must affect the currency somehow today or tomorrow as it is a holiday. So perhaps rise first to induce short covering, then drop. See, that is possible. They can use the news or the rumor or whatever the data release according to their advantage, according to the positions of the traders. So if the traders act beforehand and try to take sell positions in anticipation of the Spain rating and try to take sell positions during the rise, then the players may not drop it and they will simply say that it has been discounted. There are various attributes and various interpretations possible in the market. Keep that in mind. Anyone they can use depending upon the pending positions of the trade. So it is not a must that every time when there is a downgrading or any other bad news, then they have to necessarily correct it. And on Friday, very well that the data released was negative, on last Thursday, the data released was negative, and subsequently they made a drop in the case of Euro and GBP all the way to that of the low and made a downward stop in there. And the explanation given was a risk aversion because US data was negative. Then after about 30 minutes or so, they started gaining all the way the levels and gone above that of the high, and they said that the data was negative. So they can give any sort of interpretation, and if you think that interpretation is true, then we will be misguided. Then Jimbo, do you expect the week beginning false move today? No, it is a month end time, so it will not be week beginning false move. There will be volatile moves in the market during the month end and the new month beginning time. So only during the second, third, or in case if there is a fourth week available before the fifth week, then you will come across the week beginning false move. Otherwise, they will make very volatile move. And today, as I explained, that during the European session, they could make an upward stop and as well as a downward stop and as a volatile move. Then grow. Do you expect Euro and GBP to reach the high and then break during the European session? Yes, it is possible. Then Arun, do you see Friday high of GBP 1.4610 to be cut today, tomorrow. Yeah, there is very likely chance that tomorrow they could make a very good move for the month beginning. Upward move, I mean. Then yeah, sir. What is the high expected in the case of USDN? USDN, they have come up to that of the high. Now you have seen that 91.51 was the initial high. They have breached and they have formed 91.54, but they are holding around that. And in 30 minutes time, they have to cut the high. If they don't cut 91.54 in 30 minutes time, that means they wanted to make a drop and then make further rise. So probably they can revisit to that of the psychological level 91 or 91.25 and then gain the levels again. Because they know very well when they gain the levels, a lot of traders initially take buy positions during the gaining and thinking that yen is making a continuation of the move. So obviously they will try to hit their stops and then subsequently make the rise. So if you use the hedging order to limit the risk, if it is hedged, then you can book a nominal profit in the hedging and quickly keep another hedging order and trail it up until you are able to keep stop at entry in the buy position. And that will work out very well in the case of yen trading. Then T-bar. Any idea if the yen will continue to lose strength the rest of the day? See, you will not come across all through the day the continuation of the similar move. And now they are showing the contrarian move. Euro GBP showing net positive net change and also USDN positive net change. And during that of the European session, late European session, when they are dropping Euro and GBP, they could gain the level, initially drop USDN and then subsequently gain quickly the levels in the case of USDN. Then followed by that, they are expected to gain the levels in the case of Euro and GBP. So this is how the numerator and the all denominator currencies, sometimes they make the contrary move, alternatively they make the USD gaining or the USD weakening move, then again the contrarian move. That sort of moves they will alternate, and you have to read what they are trying to do by relating the current market level to that of the high or the low, wherever they are staying, whether it is closer to high or closer to low, and then you will be able to understand what they are trying to do it. Now in the case of USD, they made an upward stop and making a dip now. So they could probably test the level of 91.25 and then go up. Or in case if needed, they can go up to 91 psychological level or try to hit the stops below that of the psychological level and gain the levels also. Ultimately, they wanted to earn money. That is very important, you have to understand. Showing the level is not their objective and they wanted to earn money from that other market depending upon the traders' sentiments and how they are taking the positions in the market. So, yen is slowly expected to gain the levels and they could breach 92 and go above. Then, do you expect US and European equities to correct lower today and tomorrow? Now, as far as the equity market is concerned, it is month end and a lot of profit booking will be seen initially, and then subsequently some would have taken the short selling and that will lead to that of the short covering during the day. So you will come across the equity market showing mixed reaction, initial drop and then subsequent gain. That is what you come across normally during the bearish market condition. Then current year, what is the best correlation to see net change difference of GBP in your opinion? Euro GBP versus Euro USD or Euro Yen versus GBP Yen. So Euro Yen and GBP Yen will not indicate. You have to find the net change with regard to Euro as well as GBP. Say now, for example, Euro net change is 40 pips. Positive net change is 17 pips positive. As a result, you find a cumulative effect is the yen is showing then you find a cumulative effect as which Euro GBP has gained the levels of 17 pips. Then similarly, Euro and Yen, if you try to relate it, and Euro is showing 40 pips positive net change, Yen is showing 40 pips net change. As a result, Euro Yen is showing about 85 pips positive net change. So this is how you come across the cumulative effect, because They are supposed to make either the USD gaining or the USD weakening move. Whereas in the case of Euro and GBP, they are showing that USD weakening move. In the case of USDN, they are showing USD gaining move. That is referred as a contrarian move. Then, in your opinion, what will be the overall high for the day to happen in Euro and GBP? So it is very difficult to estimate either the high or the low. You can derive it by drawing the channels and say, okay, this is a strong resistance, or this is the first level resistance, second level resistance, third level resistance, etc. Similarly, with regard to the supports, and you know very well the market need not obey such resistance or the supports, and they can come up to that and go away, or they can just breach simply and go away from there. And even the Fibonacci retracement, you try to estimate, and it cannot. There is no guarantee that the market will obey, and nobody will be able to say, okay, today we'll come across only 33.8% retracement. Afterwards, it is going to go up, or 61.8%. Then afterwards, it will go up. Nobody will be able to guarantee that, or 50% and go up, because it all depends upon the traders' pending positions and the stocks, etc. Similarly, there is no necessity that it can go up to that of the high of the channel and then make a reverse. They can reverse it even before that, make a pretension that it is not going to breach the channel, and then subsequently when the traders take a sell position, they can breach and hit the stops above that of the channel, and people might say that it is the noise in the market, but ultimately the traders would have lost the position. So ultimately keep it in mind that it is a man-made market. In this man-made market, only the men can manipulate, and men can only earn out of that. God is not coming here to make money from that of the forex market. So men are making money, and they are wise people, and because of the money power, they are able to handle the market very effectively, and we have to respect it and trade along with them rather than trying to trade against them using any of the other parameters. Then, in your opinion, what will be the overall high? I explained it. Guru, what did you say the high in European session for Euro? No, I have not said any high. I said that it can breach the high which is set now, 1.2329, and it can go above. That's what I said. Probably another 50 pips, or they can go up to 1.2395. That is what I said. So 75 or 95 level, or in case if they find a lot of stops above that of 1.24, then they can go up to 1.2417. That's what I said. Okay. Then he asked, in gap time after the close of Japanese session, if Euro and GBP are rising, then can we assume they will drop during the open of the European session? Yes, gap time moves are false move, and after 7 GMT, if they gain the levels, that means they wanted to make a drop during the first 30 minutes. These are all the minor swings for 30-40 pips. So that also you can capitalize. It's not a small swing, and to ignore you can capitalize. If they gain the levels, and suppose you have got a buy position, and you can book profit during that of the gap time raise, and again wait for the drop to re-enter at a lower level, about 30-40 pips at the lower level, when the intermediary level is not being breached up to 8 GMT. And you can take calmly another buy position around 8:10 GMT. Then they will gain the levels up to 9:30, 10:30 GMT. Then afterwards, you will find a higher level consolidation and slow drop. And before that, before making a drop, you know very well, they will make one quick upward stop and for about 30-40 pips, then subsequently drop. So during such stop and time, you can book profit in your buy position, wait for the stop and use the trailing stop or stop at entry in the position so that you don't lose or miss that opportunity, and wait for them to make an upward stop and then try to close the position with profit and turn short. Then once the position makes profit, keep stop at entry in the sell position, and during the drop you try to capture the profit. So this is how you should be able to plan your trade to start with, and if it goes well, then try to execute the trade. If it is not going well, then just ignore that particular time frame. The next time frame you try to take it. So That is why I'm giving the session-wise moves in the blog, and you have to make use of it wherever possible for you, and you should be available for trading during those time frames. And also, you should find it convenient. Your equity should be able to permit you, and you should not do any over trading during that particular time frame. So these are all very important. Only then you will be able to successfully trade. Then Jimbo, do you see GBP breaking the initial high today? Yes, there is a great chance that GBP could break the high, and initially you find that Euro GBP is making a gain of 27 pips positive now because they are rising Euro and holding GBP. Then subsequently you will find that Euro GBP is expected to make a drop from that of the European session. So that you have to watch and then trade in the case of the crosses if you want. And in the case of crosses, try to use about 50 pips hedging order so that they will not fill it so easily. Otherwise, 30 pips day, it is a normal swing in the case of the crosses, and you should not get hedged and suffer, and you should not blink. And in case if you are hedged, and you should be able to keep stop at entry. If you are not able to keep stop at entry in 30 minutes time frame, try to close the hedging and keep another hedging order 30 pips away, and try to quickly move to that of the original hedged level once the market starts moving in your favor. Okay, Rob. Is there a drop this week? So this is the today is the last day of the month. Then subsequently the first week of June, that will be the first week of the month. Obviously, you will come across very big volatile moves. So drop, you have to define it differently. Say for example, they hold around 1.23, and in the case of Euro, and drop it to 1.21 and then go up. That is one type of drop. The second type of drop, currently they are holding around 1.23. They can gain up to 1.25 and then drop up to 1.23 and gain up. So what type of drop they are going to do, it we have to see. The extended drop in majors, the market will be volatile, and I am expecting about 100 and 150 pips up and down moves in the market. Not all through all the 5 days they will be making the gains in the market, and they are expected to gain the levels today and tomorrow. Then Wednesday they are expected to drop the levels midweek. Then subsequently they will hover around near that of the low on Thursday. Friday they are expected to gain the levels. Probably non-farm payrolls falls on that day, so probably they could make very big rise during that of the non-farm payroll. And also when people hesitate taking positions in anticipation of non-farm payroll, and after the payroll announcement they wanted to take the positions, and players keep calmly the market during that of the data release time. Then once that and make a very nominal move, and when the traders think, okay, this is what the fate of the market, so they are going to drop it, and they stop taking sell positions, then they make a massive rise without any relevance to that of the non-farm payroll announcement. So you have to be prepared for such type of market moves, and basically you have to understand that they create the market sentiment and act against that of the traders. So if you go by the sentiment, then you will find it extremely difficult to understand. You know that USDN last week was dropping, and it came down to that level of 89, and everybody said that then USDN, yen seems to be a safe haven, and that is why they have been, everybody started buying yen. So it came down to 89. What happened to those who have bought yen at 89? Are they booking loss now? No. They simply, in the name of others, move the market. And people think that, as a herd of traders, think that, okay, I am also supposed to do that when all others are doing it. That is how they trigger your emotion, and they induce you to do the wrong trade. And Australian dollar, because of the hung parliament, and they made the drop, that's what everybody said. Why it has come back again from that level? Because Lot of traders have taken buy position in the case of Australian dollar because about 2 months back, everybody was telling that Australian dollar is the strongest currency in the world. So when it is the strongest currency, obviously everybody has taken the bet in that as a long position, and if they fail to book profit, the players know how to trigger them. So they showed up to 0.80, and all the buy positions would have been, even the currency conversion trade would have been liquidated, and subsequently they are happily rising it. And you understand that players buy positions are in between this 0.85 to 0.8280 level. So 0.8250 is their average buy. They raised it up to 0.85. So even if they rise it further by taking further buy on the higher side, then their buy average will only gradually rise because they accumulated a huge buy position in this particular level at the lower level. So this is how the market has to be operated, or they know the trick of the trade, how to handle the market. So you have to understand that, and market cannot go to zero, market cannot go to infinity, and it has to make this swing. And there will be so many attributes from time to time they will try to give it. Now Euro has cut the high already during the Japanese session itself, and GBP is also gaining, and USD Yen has also cut the high. You can understand the impact in the case of Euro Yen. Already it has cut the high. So this is how they gain the levels. On Friday they dropped, and they have been holding in the case of Yen crosses. And I was giving the remark that they wanted to rise only the next day, because in the case of crosses, once they drop, they want all the long holders to liquidate on weekend. Then subsequently gain the levels. If they gain, then probably the traders will book profit. So they do not want to give that opportunity. And obviously, many of the traders have got the tendency of closing the positions on Friday. So they will close. Happily, the players have bought everything and they gain the levels. Now they are offering it at a higher level. So what they buy at the lower level, they are offering at the higher level. That is what it is. And we are only thinking that the market is being moved by economy. Then in June, do you see the majors rising more than dropping? Yes, I'm anticipating the rise in the case of Euro and GBP, the majors, and also the commodity, also the denominator currencies as a contrarian move. Then DT. Also for the equities, do you see more rise in June? Equities are expected to gain the levels during the first week of June and early second week of June, and they are expected to drop again. Then, yeah, so do you see USD Yen going to 93.95? Yeah, there is potency, and you cannot do the position trade. Keep it in mind because they do not want to show any direction in the market. Keep that in mind. And they do not want to show any bullish direction or a bearish direction, and they want to keep the uncertainties to prevail. Only then the traders start doing the distress trade. So if they gain quickly the levels in the case of USDN, and the people will know that okay, risk appetite is going to come, and that sort of interpretation will come, and they are very, very careful in that, and they are not giving any chances for the traders to understand the market. So you will not straight see that reaching to 93, 95 so quickly, and they will slowly swing it, and from 89 to 91 they are taken it, and they will go up to 92 and make a drop, and again then go up. That sort of moves they will do it to start with. Then grow. Do you expect more rise in GBP USD than in Euro? Yes. GBP is expected to gain more when compared to that of Euro in the long run. So I think most of the questions are over. Let me focus the camera on more hollow face. Rise in majors as a contrarian move in June means you expect also a drop? No. Contrarian move in the sense when Euro and GBP are rising, USDN, USD CHF and USD CAD are also expected to rise. That is what referred as a contrarian move. Not a contrarian move of rise and drop in the case of Euro. Hope I explained it now. Then Raj, is there enough volume to revise the annual forecast? If so, when? Yeah, I will do it when the appropriate time comes. Let them set the market now because they are simply doing the lower level consolidation. I need to read when exactly they are going to make the gaining moves. And from there, once the gaining is initiated, then I will estimate the levels from there and give a revised forecast for the year 2010. So till such time we can only do the swing trade. We can't aim any of the position trade looking to the long-term perspectives of the market. Because I do not want to give the long-term calls and make the traders to suffer. In anticipation of the long-term call, sometimes people who simply hold the position, the last making position, without any measures or without any strategy to limit the risk, they simply hold it and they put the blame on me. You said that euro will go to 1.49, whereas it is around 1.25. Because of that, I was holding the long position. This sort of blaming game happens. That is why I avoid giving this sort of long-term calls. It's very simple because I do not want to misguide the traders at any given point or by any means, and that leads to loss making by that of the traders. So that is not my objective at all. I want the traders to earn. That is why I focus more on the intraday trading. So please focus on it. Whenever the appropriate time comes for the long-term trading, then I will give certainly the long-term calls in the blog as well as in the webinar. Just because you are holding a loss-making position for a prolonged time, and if you ask for a long-term forecast, I am not here to give that because that will only motivate you to hold it for a long time without understanding how much of loss you are incurring, how much of interest you are paying to the trading platform. So there is not a trading strategy at all, and I will not encourage it unless and otherwise use the hedging to limit the risk. So during this day, swing and gain moves are expected during the Japanese session. European session, rise and slide are expected. A quick rise and a slide are expected. And they may revisit the low or they may come closer to the low. And during the US session, they are expected to swing and rise. So around 12:30 to 13 GMT, they could make the drop, and from 13 to 13:30 GMT, the gap time, and subsequently during the US session, they are expected to slowly gain the levels. So watch the market accordingly, and then try to handle the position, and don't be bullish or bearish and miss that opportunity. Whenever the opportunity comes, try to grab it or try to see that at least your position protects some profit by using a trailing stop. So I take this opportunity to thank everybody who has come here to listen to my talk, and this is being recorded and it will be displayed again. If you have got any doubt, you can go through the recorded version again. And still, if you have got some doubts, you can ask me in the blog. I am willing to answer those questions. Or if you do not want to open your mouth in the open forum, then you can always send an email to me, doctor@iknowindices.com. I am willing to answer those questions. Or you can contact me through MSN Messenger, iknowindices@hotmail.com. I am willing to answer those questions. I take this opportunity to thank everybody. See you again by tomorrow. Thank you.